So in the previous video, you would have seen I've got the resin into the crack at the front here, and that all clamped up, and this piece here all clamped up, and resin in behind as an adhesive. So I'm going to pop these clamps off now, and then before I go any further, I'm going to give the inside of this a really good clean. I'll get a bucket of hot soapy water and a scrub brush and give it a good clean before I go any further. So first thing first, let's get these clamps off. Now this is much better, much stronger than it was before. Now let's get these ones off. And there we go. And that has actually stuck quite nicely. There's a spot there I could probably get some more in, but quite happy with that. Well, as you can see, that looks way better than it did before. I still have to take a wire wheel to it or some sandpaper to clean up underneath here. I think there was some kind of something sprayed in here at some point, but overall it's come up quite nice. So I'm going to start sanding it now that I've got the bulk of the dirt off, and I'm going to really focus on trying to get up in underneath here as clean as possible, in behind here, and then the same on this side, up underneath in here and along there, because I'm going to be putting some fiberglass matting and cloth in there along with the resin. I want to have it as clean as possible for that to bond. But before I get to any sanding, I'm just going to let this sit and dry for a bit, because I can still feel the surface here is damp, and go from there. In the meantime, I think what I'm going to do is start working on this edge here as far as getting the resin in. So I have already sanded in between here. I'm going to do my best to get some resin in this gap here. And so let's get to work on that. Okay, I'm going to get my resin mixed up here. Again, I'm just using a small brush. I'm going to try and work it into the spaces here. then this one here, I'm going to use a couple of my regular clamps. See if that's going better that way. Probably. Yeah, that's that spot done. And again, once this is all set up, I'm going to reinforce it from behind. So this part now is now glued in and secure. I've got it in the right spot here. And once that one's set up, the next step is going to be finish cleaning this section up here and get those pieces ready to go. That's all I can do for now. So come back in a little bit and let's see how things are going. Okay, so I've taken the clamps off this side here, sanded down the rough spots on the resin, and it's quite solid. And even with the repairs on this side and that side there, just with those repairs, the top itself has got a lot more sturdy. Now, next thing I'm going to work on is this broken piece right here. I'm going to do that before I glue in this other bit here. And so what I'm going to do is just put some resin in here and clamp it all together with the larger clamps and let that set up. And once that's done, I can work on getting this one in. I've already started doing some cleanup on these edges here where they mate. But just to simplify the whole process, I'm going to do it in 2 steps. And as I said, just you can see that's broken quite a ways back. I'll just clamp that all together and go from there. So basically, this is just a repeat of the process I've used so far. I've mixed up a bit of resin with some hardener and just using a brush. And I'm going to work it into that joint all the way along here. Make sure I've got lots on. It's easy enough to get it out of there once it's hard, or clean it up afterwards. I'll just work that into that joint all the way along. I don't want to spread it out too far. I don't want to break it any further. And just force that down into that gap. Now, in my previous video, someone suggested trying some kind of panel bond. I hadn't considered that, to be honest, but got thinking about it. And then my line of reasoning now is that this is made of fiberglass and resin. It would probably be best to use the same materials to put it back together. So I need the wider clamps here to reach across. I think I just need the 2. I'll get that one into place there. Yeah, that's good. I don't want to press it too hard because I don't want to crack it any further. I'll get this one in position on here. And that has got that in position. So I'll just get my brush and make sure I've got everything filled up in there. And that should do well. And then to use up what's left of the resin here, so I'll just go around and see if there's any spots that I can fill in the cracks and get those put back together. So there you can see I've got this one clamped into position. I worked some of the resin into there's a little bit of a split in here that I missed. I discovered, or there was a spot here with some delaminating, so I've got some resin in there and clamped up. There's a little bit over here, and then there was a big kind of delaminated section in through here, so that's all glued up or filled in with resin. I may have to put a bit of fiberglass cloth in there at some point, or just some body filler, but for now, it's looking pretty good. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but yeah, I haven't put any resin in this little area here, so that just gives me a little bit of wiggle room when I'm trying to reattach this other piece here. I made a mistake. I didn't put enough hardener into the resin mix when I put these all together, and it's been a couple of days and it hasn't quite set up yet. Now, fortunately, it's 30 degrees Celsius today, which I think is about 85 Fahrenheit. So I just set this outside, and it's supposed to go even hotter tomorrow, I think to 35 or even higher than that. So it just puts it up in the mid 90s. So I'm pretty sure that will allow all of this resin to set up, and it's feeling a lot better than it did earlier. So with that, that's about all I can do on the top for now. Well, sometimes things don't go quite according to plan. So with messing up that last batch of resin, I just got to wait a bit longer, and that kind of uses up my time for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to share it with your friends, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget that little bell icon. Click on that, you'll get notified when the next video comes out. If you missed the previous video, I'll put a link to that one up in the top corner, and if you'd like to see where this whole Bug Eye project started, I'll put a link to that video down in the bottom corner here. If you'd like to get a hold of me directly, you can do so at the email address I'll put at the bottom of the screen, and it'll also be in the description below. My name is Ian. This is the Econobox Garage. We'll see you next time.